Well, it's July, so it's time for another update video. Last month actually marked our 3-year anniversary as an organization, and so I've put up an article, or I'm about to put up an article depending on when I put up this video, with some highlights from the last year. So I just want to walk through some of my best memories from the last year and some of the things that we've accomplished that I'm the most proud of, and then I'll also talk a little bit about some of the things that we're working on right now. In the last year, we've given 33 speeches speaking to somewhere around 3,750 people. We've also published 13 articles that were read by roughly 27,000 people on our blog. To put all of that into perspective, our speaking basically doubled, and we gave nearly twice as many speeches to about twice as many people as we did the year before, while our blogging went down by about half or so. We've dramatically reduced our article publishing temporarily while we were working on finishing the course, basically. So now we're back to about an every other week publishing an article rate, and that's what we're going to be trying to stick with until we can go weekly. Some of my favorite memories from the last year is releasing the Equipped for Life course. We worked on that so hard. We worked on it for about a year, but there was a 6-month period where it was kind of all the post-production side. We shot it all last February in 3 really full, long days in the studio, and then we did all the editing and website creation in-house. And so obviously that wasn't the only thing we were doing for 6 months, but it was one of the primary things that we were doing for 6 months so we could get it out in time for students to start getting it for the fall semester. So getting that out after working on it so hard and having to organize just a lot of moving pieces to get that thing done, I was really proud to get that done, and it's been helpful to a lot of people. We've got about 450 people right now who have access to the course. And we've heard just some great, fantastic things from people who have taken it and have been helped by it. Another good memory was moving to this office in Charlotte. This is my home office. We moved from Fresno, California to Charlotte last year, and that was a really, really good move for us. It's certainly been a very, very common question for me after we got here is, how is Charlotte? Even now, it's been almost a year since the move, and I still get a lot of questions are you happy that you guys moved to Charlotte? This was a fantastic move for us. We love Charlotte. It is beautiful here. This home office has worked really well. Certainly we will outgrow it, and I'm already kind of starting to think about that. I'll talk about that a little bit later in this video. But this has been a really great move for us. We're now personally a part of a church, and so that's fantastic, and we're getting connected to more community. Another great memory was giving 2 lectures at both of the Students for Life national conferences. That was fantastic. It's especially gratifying to hang out at our booth with Tim and in DC also Rachel Crawford and talk to, we were basically all busy talking to students just about all day. And hearing from people who had been helped by either our articles or the course or something else, but that we had never met before. And being able to meet so many of them and answer questions all day, it just was a fantastic experience for us. Creating these podcasts with Tim. It wasn't long after we had moved here that I had ordered the podcast equipment that we would end up using. We started a podcast as soon as we released the Equipped for Life course. In fact, we'd already recorded several episodes for the course when we launched. And so it was kind of a fun day when I had kind of this big old stack of all these like Amazon boxes basically and getting to open them up. It was like Christmas and kind of setting them all up and configuring them in a way that I was happy with. Most of that equipment we're still using. The only thing we've had to upgrade is we had to upgrade our mixer, which just recently died on me all of a sudden. I went a little bit too cheap on that mixer, it turns out, as I kind of researched about it and found a lot of sound guys saying, oh yeah, you should stay away from that brand. So now I know, so we had to upgrade our mixer recently. In fact, I'll be sending a fundraising email about that sometime soon, asking people if they want to kind of help out with that kind of unexpected expense. But generally speaking, everything has gone really well there. I love the Equipped for Life podcast. It's very much like, for those of you who heard me on Life Report back in the day, very much like that. It's a long-form roundtable discussion format podcast, and some of our best content is on that podcast, and I'm really proud of it. If you haven't gotten the course yet, I encourage you to get the Equipped for Life course, if nothing else, for the podcast. We just put up episode, I think, 23 Yeah, here's the 23rd episode. So we post a new episode. It's about an hour long every other week. So there's now a lot of content on that course that wasn't there when we first launched it. More recently, obviously, we have this public podcast that we call the ERI podcast, and that's where either I do update videos like this once a month, or we post audio blogs. And now, and more often in the future, we're posting speech audios, Q&A audios, things like that. So it's been really gratifying to get back to podcasting after I had not been podcasting for a couple of years. Rachel Crawford has graduated and started raising her support before she was even done making her support letter. It was amazing. She is super motivated. The week that we spent with her this last year was a really fun time where we did outreach with her and Jacobs, which was fantastic. We recorded 7 podcasts with Rachel that week. And also did a lot of brainstorming about projects that we'll be working on in the future that I'm not going to talk about right now, but we'll get into one day. It's going to be really, really great. So I'm so excited about Rachel, and she's full on support raising and doing really, really well. Speaking at Family Research Council headquarters was a great memory. I was really happy with how that talk went, and it was a nice boost to be invited by FRC to give one of their lectures. And since then, that's connected me with several other people, and so I think we're still seeing some benefits from that talk that I gave. A couple of other great things. One is we've published more sidewalk counseling material from Jacob Nels, who's on staff, and the more I hear about the way that he sidewalk counsels, the more that I think that we have this gem here on staff that I didn't even realize how valuable his experience doing sidewalk counseling is. I think he is fantastic at it. I think you have someone who has a lot of experience doing sidewalk counseling, but has the mind that we want to encourage people to have at ERI, which is always rethinking and trying to figure out what are the most effective things that we can do and trying new things. And so Jacob has spent a lot of time doing that on the sidewalks in front of the abortion facility near his home, and has learned a lot, and we're still training more people and teaching them from that content that Jacob has been working on. And the last thing I'm going to say, and this is something that I'm just so excited about, we had a board meeting recently, and so I was kind of looking up our analytics in prep for that. And as I was looking at our financials, I was seeing something that I basically didn't believe was possible. I had to get our treasurer on the phone and ask him if I should believe what I was seeing. And luckily, it turns out I was seeing. I was correctly interpreting the financial statements. And so I've had this goal for years now that I've told some people, I've told some of our donors that I have this goal that we could get to a place where our monthly donors, the people who give monthly or perhaps quarterly, that income would basically pay all of our standard monthly expenses. The salary, the equipment, the website costs, all of that. We spend about the same amount every month. We're pretty lean and mean. We budget well. So that was always a goal, as opposed to kind of the standard thing. Most nonprofits rely on some combination of fundraising events or direct mail campaigns, perhaps email fundraising campaigns, or end of year giving. And that's been kind of our story. Like, we've never had a fundraising event. We do very little fundraising by email. We don't do enough. I should send more fundraising emails than I do. We don't do a lot of direct mail stuff. But we do obviously do fundraising around the end of year. And in the past, end of year giving has sustained us for the first quarter or two of every year. So that's kind of been the story so far. For the last 6 months, though, consistently, we have brought in from our generous monthly donors everything that we need to pay our monthly bills. I think we've basically hit that goal that I set a couple of years ago, that I've had nonprofit types kind of not laugh at me, like not literally laugh at me, but give me this look like I'm this really naive, young nonprofit guy. Like, come on, everyone says that they want to get there. No one does. In 3 years, we are there. And I'm shocked and so excited. That's such good news for us, and makes me just so grateful. Grateful for every person who's giving even $20 a month. All of that summed up we've been able to pay our monthly bills for the last 6 months, which means, yes, of course, we'll still do more fundraising around the end of the year. We've still got donors that's their routine, is they're going to give one big check in November or December, and that's fine. We'll still be working on that, but like what I'm trying to accomplish with fundraising is different now. As opposed to trying to make sure that we can pay our bills, what I want to do is help us to grow. And I know what it's going to take us to grow is we need more staff and we need an office. We need like a medium-sized office where we could have several people all working in the same place, just more people that can fit in this room right here. And so that's the thing that I'm working toward. If you are excited by that, if you want to see ERI grow and reach more people and become more effective, I would be very grateful if you decided to give toward that. You can go to equalrightsinstitute.com/donate and give any time, or reach out to me if you want to ask me some questions, if you need some more information about that to be excited about giving. But that's fantastic news. I've also been training Megan, our summer intern, on audio editing. She is doing fantastic. She is learning quickly. Pretty soon I'm going to be teaching her how to do more advanced video editing things. She's also been doing some research projects. It has been great having her on board. If you're interested in being an intern for ERI, I now have figured out how to get an internship program going. And so I'd be happy to get a few more interns going if you're interested in that. We just recently partnered with Real Estate for Life, which is a group that has connections with a lot of great real estate agents from around the country. And so if you're selling your house or a property and you want some of the fees to end up being donated to us, just go to Real Estate for Life's website, let them know where you are and that you're interested in working with them. And they're going to ask you how you heard about them. You tell them you heard about them from Equal Rights Institute, and then a portion of the real estate agent's fee will end up going to us. On average, for like small homes, we would get about $1,000. So it's still really helpful. And so if you're selling a house, it would be awesome if you connected with Real Estate for Life as part of that. It doesn't sound to me, and I've done some research, it doesn't sound to me like this is a thing where you're getting like really lousy real estate agents as part of this. Like, it sounds like they're connecting with really qualified people, really experienced people. And so it shouldn't be a negative difference for you, but it certainly will still help us a lot. I'm in the process right now of launching a private Facebook group for the people who get the course. One of the things that we've had for everyone who's on the course so they can interact is a forum on the website. That's private, and you can only get there if you've got access to the Equip for Life course website. And recently I've become convinced to add a private Facebook group. So I've been in the process of figuring out how to do that well and getting that launched. If you've not gotten the Equip for Life course yet, again, I would encourage you to get it. It's awesome. It's just $39, and there's over 20 hours of great pro-life content on there, and also you can interact with a bunch of other awesome pro-life advocates. We have multiple blog posts that are in the works right now. They're not published yet, but we're kind of putting the finishing touches on them, so you'll be seeing those in the coming weeks. And on the podcast, we've got a new speech audio. When I did a survey on what people would be most interested in as far as like aspects of this podcast, the most popular option was speech and Q&A audio. We haven't had that yet, but now we do. We have a new speech that I wrote and presented at a homeschool conference, as well as the Q&A portion after that. We'll also be posting soon the Q&A that I did for the second session that I did at that conference, as well as some really long Q&A sessions that I recently did with some groups who've taken our course and are about to go and do outreach. So we've still got to do some, basic editing of those to make them more listenable, but we'll be releasing those on the podcast soon as well. Thank you so much, and I'll be recording another update video in about a month.